Welcome to Value Vest Daily, where we deep dive into the best value and momentum investment opportunities. Today, we are looking at a real paradox in the telehealth space, HIMS and HERS. This is a company that is seeing absolutely explosive growth, but at the same time, it's navigating some pretty serious headwinds. So the big question we're really digging into today is this: is HIMS and HERS the future of healthcare, or is it a high-flying growth story that's becoming a very, very risky bet? And there is a very good reason everyone is paying attention. It's this number right here, 73%. That is the company's staggering year-over-year quarterly revenue growth. I mean, that kind of meteoric rise gets everyone's attention, and it's exactly why we need to pop the hood and see what's really driving this thing. So you have to ask, how on earth does a company achieve that kind of velocity? Well, it's a story of tapping into massive, underserved markets with a business model that is just built for the digital age. But the real question is that growth sustainable? Let's break it all down. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with what the company actually does. Then we'll look at the engine behind its incredible growth. After that, we'll examine its so-called digital fortress before turning to the serious risks it's facing. We'll wrap things up by looking at its future strategy and the one defining question that's at the heart of it all. So first up, what exactly is HIMS and HERS? Well, at its core, it's a 100% online telehealth platform. It connects patients to licensed healthcare professionals in all 50 states. It got its start back in 2017 with a pretty tight focus on men's health and has just been expanding its reach ever since. And for you, the customer, the process is designed to be incredibly simple. First, you fill out an online form about your symptoms and medical history. Then, a licensed provider in your state reviews it and figures out a treatment plan. And if a prescription is right for you, it's shipped in discreet packaging right to your door. No in-person visits and no insurance required. It's all about convenience. The company really got its start by tackling these sensitive but absolutely massive markets, like sexual health and hair loss. But they didn't stop there, not by a long shot. They've since expanded aggressively into dermatology, mental health, and now the absolutely huge weight management market. Each one of these expansions taps into a brand new multi-billion-dollar opportunity. Okay, so this expansion, it brings us right to the bull case, the story of a company that is just experiencing truly remarkable growth. So let's take a look at the raw power behind their numbers. And this right here, this is the foundation of that incredible revenue growth. As you can see, the company's subscriber base just keeps climbing quarter after quarter after quarter. It's now approaching 2.5 million people. So the crucial point here is this recurring revenue. It is the engine for their entire business. This isn't about one-time purchases, It's all about building a long-term subscription-based relationship with millions and millions of customers. But, okay, with that kind of crazy success, you have to be asking, what's to stop competitors from just swooping in and copying their whole model? Well, that is where the company's business moat comes into play. It's all about their key competitive advantages. Now, for anyone who might be unfamiliar, a business moat is basically what a company uses to defend its market share and its profits from competitors. You can think of it just like the moat around a medieval castle. It's their defense. And for HIMS and HERS, one analyst described it perfectly. They called it a digital fortress. It's just a really powerful analogy for how they've built up their defenses in this totally online world. So, what are the walls of this fortress made of? Well, for starters, they've built incredible brand trust in health areas people don't always want to talk about publicly. Then, with millions of customer interactions, all that data helps them improve personalization and get better outcomes. And finally, they are vertically integrated, which means they control everything from their own health record system to their in-house pharmacies. So you can see the bull case is pretty darn compelling. Massive growth, a strong brand, and a defensible moat. But, and this is a big but, every story has two sides. The bear case is just as serious. We're talking regulatory scrutiny, fierce competition, and some significant legal challenges. So, it is time to flip the coin and take a hard look at the bear case, because HIMS and HERS is facing some pretty significant headwinds right now. And these risks are very, very real. The company is dealing with an FDA warning letter that could restrict its marketing. They're also fighting a securities fraud lawsuit, which creates a lot of legal uncertainty. On top of all that, competition is intense, not just from other startups like Ro, but from pharmaceutical giants like Novo Nordisk. And to top it off, recent insider selling by the CEO has definitely raised some questions. The key takeaway here is that these aren't just minor speed bumps. No, Each one of these represents a genuine threat to the company's business model and, frankly, its entire future growth trajectory. So, with all those risks really clouding the picture, where does the company even go from here? Well, the answer seems to lie in a strategic pivot toward the future of healthcare, moving beyond just treating things to focusing on prevention. But before we get to that pivot, it's really worth noting who believes in their long-term vision. A massive 89% of the company is owned by institutional investors. We're talking about the big funds, what some people call the smart money. When you see firms like BlackRock and Vanguard as top holders, it signals a pretty high degree of professional conviction in the company's long-term potential, despite all the risks. And you can really see that long-term vision when you look at how the company has evolved. I mean, from a very narrow focus on men's health back in 2017, they have constantly expanded, and it's all culminated in their latest major initiative, the Labs platform. And this is the core of their entire future strategy. By offering direct-to-consumer access to lab tests for over 120 different biomarkers, the goal is to shift from reactively treating conditions to proactively managing your health. This is how they turn one-time users into lifelong subscribers through ongoing monitoring and early intervention. So this brings us right back to where we started. We've got a company with phenomenal growth and a super powerful brand, but one that is also facing very real regulatory, legal, and competitive risks. This all sets up the one defining question. Is HIMS and HERS a true pioneer that's building the future of personalized medicine, or is it a fantastic growth story that's about to face a serious, serious reckoning? Really, the answer is going to depend on whether that digital fortress they've built is strong enough to withstand all the tests that are coming its way. And just a final reminder, this is all for informational purposes only. It is not financial advice, and you should always, always conduct your own research. Please subscribe, like, and share ValueVest Daily for learning totally unbiased daily opportunities before you put your money to work. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Please put in a comment if you want us to deep dive into any specific ticker symbol. Thanks for watching.